Alright, so last video I kind of lied. I said I was going to go over the interior and all the plans for that, but instead today I think I'm going to go over the wheels and suspension because I had something come in the mail yesterday that's kind of cool. So I'm going to go out and show you that, and then we'll put them on and kind of go from there. So these are some wheel spacers that I picked up. Some 10mm spacers. They're pretty nice actually. I'm pretty impressed with the quality of them. They're just the slip-on style, so you don't have to bolt them on with anything like that. They did come with extended studs, 8 of those per 2 spacers, and I do have 4 spacers, so that way I have a set for the front or the rear. And I think I'll probably end up using both of them just to push those wheels out just a little bit more. We'll have to put them on and see which ones we go with. I also have 2 sets of rims, and I'm gonna have to kind of decide what ones I'm gonna use. This is what I'm running for a wheel at the moment. This is a 16x7 Rota grid. These are plus 40 offset. Not bad. They're in okay shape. Basically what I gotta do here is just take one of these spacers, and they do just sort of slip on like that. These ones are called centric, hub-centric spacers. So they have a little cutout in here that fits specifically to this hub. And it is a bit of a tight fit around the hub. I'm assuming they just need to kind of snug on. That's where this lip hits that lip. But these are made for this vehicle, so a little bit of tap from a hammer and they should be good. I'm going to use a screwdriver just to make sure I don't mark the spacer up at all. But other than that, we should be good to go. Alright, so now it's on there. It's pretty flush all the way around. As you can see, it takes away a lot of the threads on the studs. So basically you have to put those extended studs in no matter what, or else you won't have anything to put the lug nut on. So we'll start by putting the front wheel on, and we'll see what the fitment's kind of like with that on. Or I might even just throw both on. I'll put the one in the rear, and I'll put the wheels back on. That way I can take it off both jack stands and lower it down, and then get an idea where it's sitting. So that's what they're like with the 16x7 with the 40 offset, and then that's got the 10mm spacer on it now. It actually looks pretty good. These are the other rims I have. They are 15-inch. They're called Sparco RRs. They're just like a legit JDM rim that I picked up probably like 3 or 4 years ago now. They just have Nitto Neogen tires, 205 50R15. So they're going to be a little bit shorter than the 16s that I have on there. But as far as width goes, they're pretty close. This is a 15x6.5 plus 45 offset. So it will be a little less aggressive than the ones I already have on it, but I still want to see, just to give me an idea where they're going to sit. So that's what it looks like with the 15s. It's just a little less poking. I'd say 16s are pretty flush, and these ones are just a little bit tucked in here, but I do kind of like the style of the rim itself and what they are. And I was thinking if I maybe just took a bit of camber out in the front and the rear, that maybe that would square it up a little bit better and make it so it's pushing it out just that tiny bit further. I also was considering getting a bigger tire, like a 205 55 R15 instead of a 205 50 R15. Still just gonna have to wait and see once I get everything figured out with paint, start dialing in fitment a little better, putting the extended studs on, then I'll make my choice probably at that point. So I guess I'll just have to decide between 15-inch and 16-inch and a little bit more offset versus a little bit less offset. I really do want it to be a flush fitment, basically as close to the fender lining up with the edge of the tire as possible, but I also have to see where I'm going to end up with it for settings on the suspension as far as ride height and camber and all that. And yeah, I guess we'll just see, and possibly a larger size tire on the 15 if anything. So basically what you can see on this red arm here, that's called the upper control arm. That plate that you see right here with the 2 bolts going into it, there's another 2 bolts on the other side. Basically what that's doing is it's pinching this arm with 2 plates against each other, and when you loosen those bolts you can slide the plate forward and back in the arm itself, which in turn takes the top of this spindle and pushes it out or brings it in, which in turn pushes the edge of the rim or the tire at the top, pushes it out or pushes it in. For the coilovers, I think I said in another video, I'm just using the Type 1s, Function and Form Type 1s. They're pretty good for a budget coilover. Not too rough, but you know, they have overall decent handling for beginner coilovers. I've had like probably 3 sets over the years, just in different cars. And then down here, where that fork goes into the control arm, they have energy suspension bushings, as well as where that bolt goes through there. And those bushings just basically stiffen up more than they would be if you had just the stock ones in there. Helps with a little bit of handling and rigidity, stuff like that. So that's pretty much it for the front end. Function and Form Type 1s in the rear as well. BWR lower control arms and an ASR subframe brace. Here we have the front toe arms and the rear camber kit that's going to go on the back trailing arm. Basically do the same thing as the front camber kit. These ones are camber kit. Basically these 2 points can expand as you twist this inner portion, and then you tighten down the nuts back down to this portion so it can't spin, and you kind of push the top of your tire in or out depending on what you need. These ones are the rear toe adjusters, so very similar to the rear camber, but basically the front of your trailing arm is going to grab onto one of these on this side, and this piece is going to go up into the body of the car. And if your trailing arm is sitting like this, facing forwards, as you push this out, make it longer, you're adjusting the toe out, or you can bring the toe in by shortening it. So there is a bit of adjustment that you can do on the car right from stock with this plain regular arm. But what this allows you to do is essentially lock it in place on the body side and then do your adjustments with a wrench from this side. Makes it a lot easier to push things in and out just with a wrench and then from this angle, rather than having to loosen the nuts up in the car, which can be seized quite often. So alright, so that's basically it for the suspension. There's not a whole lot more to explain, but it'll be easier to explain it once I actually go to install the parts and I can actually show you how they go on and what they do. At that point, hopefully I'll be moving along with more of the interior and the exterior stuff that I'm going to try and get done. I really need to get everything painted sooner than later, and I'd like to get the interior done also sooner than later, just because it is starting to get nice out and that's something I can do while I'm kind of stuck at home. So that's pretty much it. Until next time.